Hi guys! So today what I thought I would do is a video on the different abbreviations for that you will see if you are discussing infertility or fertility. So if you go on to forums or Facebook groups or anything where you're discussing fertility or infertility, you will come across all these abbreviations, and I haven't actually came across a video yet that explains what they are. So I thought it would be really helpful to do that for you. First of all, I want to just give a little overview really of our journey and what's going to happen next, and then I will go into the abbreviations. So Paul and I have always wanted to have children right from the very beginning, when we were talking and sort of just friends or just the start of a relationship. We discussed children because it's something that I have always wanted myself. I've always wanted to be pregnant and carry my own children and be a mum. So it was something that was at the top of my list. It's something that was a deal breaker for me. And luckily Paul absolutely loves children, and he has always wanted more children. I don't think Paul could physically have enough children. So that was something that we'd always wanted. But as I'd come from quite a traditional background, I really wanted to be married before we had children. So there was a lot of stuff that happened that meant that our wedding kept put back, and dates changing and venues changing and all of this stuff, and then eventually we did get married in 2018. Last year was not a great year for me personally. My granddad and my dad both passed away last year, so my mind couldn't have been further from children and things like that. This year we were supposed to be going to Disney for our honeymoon, so we really wanted to do the whole 21 nights in Disney, luxury, really great honeymoon, and then sort of come back and focus on children. But with COVID, although going to Disney would still be great, some of the things that we were really looking forward to for our honeymoon just aren't happening. Disney fireworks are the most amazing fireworks that I have ever seen in the world, and yet they can't do fireworks. The dining experiences, so the whole thing of planning your dining and the ease, and the whole reason we were going to stay on site is for having that little magic band that you don't have to think about anything. All your food's paid for, all your drinks paid for. You want it, you tap it, you have it. They're not doing dining plans at the moment. Again, they are trying to look after everybody and be all COVID safe. So we decided that we weren't going to go to Disney. We did originally put it back to next year, but we had been told by Disney that they're still not going to do the dining plan for next year, and they can't promise that things like the parades and the fireworks and the actual dining reservations will be back to normal. So we decided we're just going to park that as an idea, and we will go in the future at some point, maybe when we've got children and they're a bit older, and we'll take them, who knows. So we just decided we were going to park that idea. We were going to do our garden. Now, you still haven't seen the completed garden. Today we did plant the seed, if for any of you that's watching that. So we decided we were going to refocus on fertility and starting a family. So just in short, for those of you that don't know, Paul had a vasectomy quite a few years ago when his youngest daughter, just after his youngest daughter had been born with his ex-wife, because his ex-wife had a lot of issues with the pregnancy and with her health afterwards and during. So he was doing the nice thing, and he decided that he would have a vasectomy instead of her obviously having the treatment that she would have needed herself. She did go on, I believe, to have that anyway, but obviously once the vasectomy's done, it had been done then. So we were undecided whether we wanted to do ICSI or IVF, which I'll explain later what they are, or whether we wanted to do a reversal. So what we've decided we're going to try first is we're going to try a vasectomy reversal, and if that doesn't work, then we will move on and we will do ICSI. So with regards to the vasectomy reversal, we did a lot of of research, and we decided we were going to use Dr. Duncan Harris, and he performs his vasectomy reversals at the Park Hospital. At the moment we have to wait because all of the private BMI hospitals are being used for cancer patients, because they obviously want to keep the cancer patients away from COVID, because their immune system is lower than the rest of the population, obviously, with chemo and with radiotherapy. So we are waiting to be able to book our date. Once the date has been booked, we do have to self-isolate for 3 days before the operation. So we have to go and have a test at either an NHS centre or a private hospital. If we go to the NHS, it'll be free, so we'll probably do that. It's £83 if we go to a private hospital. We have the test done. They give you the result there and then to show that you haven't got COVID. Then we both have to isolate for 3 days. Paul's not allowed to drive himself back, which is why I have to isolate as well beforehand. So for 3 days beforehand, I will self-isolate. He will self-isolate, so we'll be self-isolating together. I'll take him up there. Depending on the day that we get allocated, if it's a Monday or a Wednesday, then it will be an overnight stay. So he will stay at the hospital and I will stay at a nearby hotel. If we get allocated a weekend slot, then it will be a go up there, has the operation done in the morning to lunchtime, and then I bring him home. Paul will then have to have 2 weeks off work to sort of recover from the operation. I can go back to work because obviously I won't have had an operation, but I'm going to play it by ear and see how Paul feels. If he'd prefer for me to be off for the first week to sort of look after him and help him with stuff, or whether he would prefer to be at home on his own. But I'm going to ask him about that. So that's what we're looking at first. The bonus and the reason that we've decided to do it is because if it does work, we can have children when we want to have children, rather than if it is with ICSI or IVF, we are told by the hospitals when we can do it, and I have to do all of the injections and all of that stuff, which is quite difficult sort of around work and things like that. And I'm not the biggest fan of needles either. So obviously if I have to do it, I'll do it, no problems, but we are trying the other way first. So yeah, now you've got a little bit of the lowdown on what we're hoping for and what we're trying. Let's get into the abbreviations. So the first one is 2WW or TWW. That one is the 2-week wait, which is the 2 weeks between ovulation and pregnancy. So if you're going for ICSI or IVF, for example, that will be 2 weeks from when you had your procedure to when you would first be able to be picked up that you were pregnant, basically. So that's the 2-week wait before you can take your pregnancy test. AF, Aunt Flo, or your period. AI is artificial insemination. That's also known as intrauterine insemination, which is IUI. So AI or IUI. Baby dust or fairy dust, it's like good luck. It's a way of saying to someone, oh, I really, I've got my fingers crossed for you. BBT is basal body temperature. BD is baby dance, which means sex. BF is breastfeed or boyfriend. BFN is big fat negative, and BFP is big fat positive. BP is blood pressure. CB or CBD is Clearblue or Clearblue digital. CBFM is Clearblue fertility monitor. CD is cycle day, which is the first day of your menstrual cycle or your period cycle. CM is cervical mucus. CP is chemical pregnancy. DD is dear or darling daughter. I'm going to use dear because it's easier to say. DF is dear fiance. DH is dear husband. DP is dear partner. DPO is day past ovulation. DS is dear son. DSD is dear stepdaughter. DSS is dear stepson. DTD is do the deed or baby dance / sex. DW is dear wife. EPO is evening primrose oil. Some people think that is really helps with fertility. EWCW, egg white cervical mucus. FMU is first morning urine. So a lot of people believe that the first wee in the morning is the most concentrated. So if you're going to do a pregnancy test or something like that, you should use that. FT is full time. FRER is first response early result. So some pregnancy tests will say it's a first response or an early result pregnancy test. HCG is human chronic gonadotropin. That's basically the hormone that your pregnancy tests measure. HPT is home pregnancy test. HSG, hysterosal pingogram. So hysterosal pingogram, an x-ray of the womb and fallopian tubes. IB is implantation bleeding. This is a slight bleed or spotting that may happen around the time of your embryo implantation. So it's basically not to worry if you get some spotting around that time. It's to be expected. IC is internet cheapie, so a cheap pregnancy test you get off the internet. ICSI or ICSI is intracytoplasmic sperm injection. So effectively, if you have ICSI, you have, so the female's eggs are in a petri dish, and the man's sperm is injected directly into the egg. IUI is intrauterine insemination, which we already spoke about. So that is where the sperm is injected inside and it needs to find its way to the egg. And IVF is where the sperm is injected into the petri dish where the eggs are, and it needs to make its way into the egg itself. So LH is luteinizing hormone. This is the hormone that triggers ovulation. So line eyes, this is where they want people to check whether they can see the second line saying they're pregnant or not. LMP is last menstrual period, so that's the first day of your last period. LO is little one. LP is luteal phase, the phase of your cycle between ovulation and getting your period. MC is miscarriage. MIL is mother-in-law. MW is midwife. OH is other half. OHSS is ovarian hyperstimulation syndrome. OP is original post or poster. OV is ovulation. OPK is ovulation predictor kit. PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome. That is something that I have. There's lots of different symptoms that you can have with PCOS. Some people don't have fertility issues, others do. It just depends on you and how your body has it, basically. PG is pregnant. PID is pelvic inflammatory disease. PP is previous poster or postpartum, depending on the context. PGD, pre-implantation genetic diagnosis, where IVF embryos are tested for genetic conditions before they're implanted. PGS is pre-implantation genetic screening, where IVF embryos are tested to make sure they have a healthy number of chromosomes before they're implanted. PMA is positive mental attitude. POAS is pee on a stick or take a pregnancy test. RLT is raspberry leaf tea. Again, another thing that some people believe helps with fertility. Rainbow baby is a baby born after losing a pregnancy or a child. SA is semen analysis. So this is the assessment of the sperm for its quality, motility, and quantity. SAHD is stay-at-home dad. SAHM is stay-at-home mum. SAHP is stay-at-home parent. SD is stepdaughter or superdrug. So SMEP is sperm meets eggplant, a specific method of trying to conceive. SS is stepson or symptom spotting. TTC, trying to to conceive. TCOYF, taking charge of your fertility. That's a particular book, but there's also an app. TWW, as we said, 2-week wait. WAHD, work at home dad. WAHM, work at home mum. WAHP, work at home parent. WYOO, what's your opinion on? So I really hope that was helpful to you. I will put the full list underneath as well for you so that it's easy for you to see. And yeah, if you've got any questions, or if you're going through fertility or thinking about going through fertility, please let me know. I'd love this to be a place where we can all support each other and share our stories. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Bye.